Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Capcan and today we're gonna be looking at the most tanky builds from Affliction Hardcore SSF. So basically, yeah, these are builds that you can build without any trading, of course, because it's all statistics from Solo Self-Found League, and they are all very tanky as they were proven to get up to level 100 or just high levels in general in Hardcore. And yeah, that's it, that's quite easy. This video is going to be quite short and quite fast. We're gonna be looking at main skills that were present and at main ascendancies with which skills they were paired, so that you can build at least somewhat of an idea of what's to come in 3.24 if there are no major balance updates, and just in general what's the vibe in terms of meta of the most tankiest builds and the most productive builds on a hardcore in general. So here, as you can see, it's Hardcore SSF Affliction, its latest snapshot, which is already quite close to the end of the league, as the next league is going to be announced and started in March, which is already March. So yeah, I guess let's go here. So Penance brand of Dissipation, this one was very prominent and very popular in trade softcore 2. So no, yeah, it's not a it's nothing new that we see it here. Then SRS, Summon Raging Spirit, as the main skill for summoners, as it was for quite a long time too. Then Boneshatter, yeah, that's the melee skill for you to go without any investment to have damage. Then Detonate Dead, Toxic Rain, Caustic Arrow of Poison, which is one of the new alternative versions of skills, which is quite popular on trade, softcore trade as well. Splitting Steel, Righteous Fire, Boneshatter of Complex Trauma, and some like Explosive Arrow, Caustic Arrow, but those are way smaller in terms of population numbers. So these are the main skills that are quite present in HCSSF. And now let's go for the ascendancies. So for our top 10 ascendancies, as you can see here, it's Pathfinder with 13% and Guardian. So Guardian is still quite overpowered for summoners. Yeah, it still works pretty fine, and in SSF, and especially whenever you need to have so much defenses on your character so that it can survive pretty much everything in hardcore, you're gonna opt into Guardian. Then of course Juggernaut for all the Boneshatter endurers, Champion, which will probably be quite connected to Splitting Steel, maybe some Boneshatter as well, probably some other skills too, because Champion is quite versatile in that terms. Elementalist, which is way higher in HCSSF than it is on softcore trade. Of course, there's no Deadeye here, and Ascendant is not as prominent here, because in Trade League, Ascendants are way higher than this. They are like number 3 or number 4. And then we see Inquisitor, Necromancer, some Chieftain, which, by the way, Chieftain made a pretty big comeback in this league, in both types of leagues. It is quite popular on softcore trade. It is quite popular in here. It was mostly Detonate Deads that were popular, but we'll see. Chieftain and Slayer with 5% exiting top 10. Oh no, I guess Trickster with 4% is exiting top 4, but with Hierophant having the same percentage. Okay, so Pathfinder. Toxic Rain, Caustic Arrow of Poison, and some Penance brand of Dissipation. So yeah, Caustic Arrow of Poison is one of the most on pair with Penance brand. These two are the biggest additions to the meta of PoE after they've rolled all the skill changes in Affliction. Then good old regular Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain, of course, and yeah, some other things that are way less popular. And as we can see here, almost all Pathfinders who are on the ladder are dot chaos damage guys, with some small Penance brand of Dissipation guys that are a bit lower on the line. Yeah, now let's go for the Guardian. It's going to be SRS. Yes, it is predominantly Summon Raging Spirit. It's all, yeah, but you basically are not really building these guys into something else, but there's like 5% of mirror arrow of bombarding clones, so yeah, it's a summoner build too, of course, and after that it's a very small percentage of other things. Then with Juggernaut, it's Boneshatter and Boneshatter of complex trauma, which is quite a quite cool addition to Boneshatter in general. It reshapes how Boneshatter trauma stocks work a bit. It rewards certain playstyles, so that's why it's here. It's 12%, to be honest. It's quite good. If you were to compare it to regular 37%, which is it's just at least third of all Boneshatters are, third to fourth is. One third or one fourth is complex trauma. Otherwise, not much action with Juggernauts here. With Champion, it's a splitting steel and explosive arrow ballistas, explosive arrow ballistas were very, very reliable build for more than a year now, maybe even much more than a year now. But it is for sure a very stable build that you can count on. And that splitting steel is somewhat of a... I guess it was reworked, or I can't really remember. I'm not playing that many steel skills in general, and I haven't played them. But there were big changes to how they do work, and I know that one of them, the skill that is given to you on lower levels, was completely reworked, and it may be the result of a rework. Then we do have our Elementalist with Detonate Dead. 48% it's Detonate Dead, which is just completely massive. Otherwise, it's some Fire Trap, which can be just an addition to that, and 2% Arc. Yeah, it's non-essential. It's all Detonate Deads. Which, as you can see, even on Trade League, the meta is very, very stale, and it's in terms of all the most overperformers and all the toppest builds, it is not there's not many builds and skills around. It's like 10 to 20 to 30 skills that are present, and that's it. Then, of course, with Inquisitor, it's 65% Penance brand of Dissipation, and then 5% of Righteous Fire, but it's not that much, for sure. With the Necromancer, it's Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction. Okay, so it's not as much of a summoners. It's more due to the Necromancer having all those buffs for your corpse explosions and stuff like that. So that's why we do have here quite high amount of Detonate Deads of Chain Reaction, and not many regular Detonate Deads. Otherwise, some Volatile Dead of Seething, which is a nice change to see here. But mostly DD with chain reactions and a little bit of SRS action going in here. Then Chieftain. So Chieftain is quite high on Righteous Fire. Fire Traps are just an addition to Righteous Fire. Some like 9% of Penance brand of Dissipation, a bit of Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction, which, to be honest, there was way more Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction Chieftains on Softcore Trade League. So that's quite interesting, but that's mostly it. And with Slayer, we do have here Boneshatters of Complex Traumas, 2% Earth Shatter, which you can ignore. And then with Trickster, it's Penance brand of Dissipation with a little bit of Explosive Trap of Shrapnel. This is first time that I'm seeing it in these two videos that I've made. We may want to look at it a little bit closer to know what's that. Then Arc of Surging, these things 3% each. To be honest, it's it's way more healthy in terms of how people build different skills. It may be due to way lower population. It's only 600 characters, and that's why the percentage is a bit more diverse. But it's still pretty good that you do have here way more 4, 3, 2%, and not as much like 150%, and then everything is 0.5. Caustic Aura, Explosive Trap, Arc of Surging, Ice Nova of Frost Bolts, some Blade Trap action, Caustic Arrow, maybe I've said it already, and even Splitting Steel with Blade Vortex. So it's quite interesting, it's quite diverse, but still Penance brand is on top of everything here. And then the last 4% subclass is going to be our Hierophant, which is Ball Lightning of Static. Yeah, as you can see here, it's Ball Lightning of Static, and it's of course all totems. And that's quite interesting too. I haven't seen builds with that in mind. It will be interesting for me to check how they work and stuff and all that stuff. Stormburst 5%, Penance brand of Dissipation is 7%, and after that everything else is quite low on percentages. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. This is your most tanky builds in 3.23. Hope you're having a good time. Bye.